So Hare Krishna, welcome everybody.
Hello, Hare Krishna. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Hi, Hare Krishna.
Welcome, Jeff. Hare Krishna. So today we have a cool verse. I think this verse is actually, it'll be a little easier to remember because the kind of the way it's structured, it kind of just makes sense. So a little easier. And yeah, we're heading towards the end of the chapter. I'm thinking of doing like a mini course that's 2 parts for the Nectar of Instruction, the first 4 verses. So that's a really mini compared to memorizing a 30-verse chapter. 4, and then the second part is the second 4. The first 4 are like, you could say kind of beginner. The whole Nectar of Instruction goes from like basic to really esoteric. Actually, it's 11 verses, 4, and we're not going to even do the last 3 because it's like so esoteric. And then it's not really because it's so esoteric, but it's a little hard because the verses are really long. But the first 4 and the second 4, they're much more durable and they're more practical for where we're at. Especially the first 4, those are really good. And second 4, both good for all of us. All right. So Akiko-san, how are you doing? How is your have you been able to memorize any of the verses?
No, it's been nonstop. So
You went out of the country.
Are we supposed to? Yeah, I just came back Tuesday night, and ever since it's nonstop. So I haven't even caught up for what I've missed. Are we supposed to work on it before this Zoom class, or are we
after you should?
After?
Yeah.
But you would send the verse beforehand so we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so after the class, like every day do a little bit, but then add on. So it's like you have like verse, you could say the verse 1 is like A.
Right.
Then verse 2 would be like B. So like
you work on A,
you
B.
go A, B, C, A, you chant that, and then like day 5 you'd be chanting A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. And then when it becomes like a string like that, it becomes more reinforced.
Got it.
And then we have a Gaur Nataraj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome. Where are you calling in from?
Champaign, Illinois.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be here. It seems perfect timing, perfect Krishna timing for this. There've been things have been pointing me to memorizing shlokas, and I have no idea where to start.
Okay, you're good to have you here.
Excellent, thank you.
We have Ken. How's it going, Ken? How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I really appreciated that monologue at the end of the Wisdom of the Sages of Kastubadas, talking about taking it to the workplace, the Gita to the workplace. That was really great to hear. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I feel like finally it's back. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I've been listening to old episodes.
I watched the classes that I missed, and they were great. So I feel like I've been here.
Oh, the Bhagavad Gītā classes. How many did you get to see?
Of yours?
Yeah.
The last 2.
Last 2. Oh, okay. Last 2 that you. Oh, all right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's the only 2 I missed.
Nice. So, and then Carmen, Hare Krishna, how you doing? We got to see Carmen. Was it just a week ago? Was it last? No, we left on a Friday. Yeah, so a little bit more than a week ago. We were in El Paso.
Yeah.
Are you still feeling any of the excitement of the festivities still like lingering around?
Yeah. I got a lot of association, and it was amazing to get the association of your family You guys are really amazing, and I'm super grateful.
Thank you kindly. When you have nice people, they just say kind things about you. It's just, they can't help it. You could be anything. They'll just say nice things. Okay, somebody else just came in. Who just came in? Dana K, our favorite, Dana K. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And Jeff, where are you calling in from? Are you able to give us a holler? Okay, we'll continue. So, Gauranataraj, I'll just give it a really brief overview of some of the elements that help with Gita memorization. So, have you ever memorized any verses before?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
So I was looking to for some hints to where to start. I mean, what verses are the best to start with, and
Okay.
I guess
Good.
I have been memorizing, not shloka verses per se, but other spiritual traditions like the Hanuman Chalisa. I did memorize that once. I spent about 4 or 5 months trying to memorize that, and
Okay.
so I'm used to memorizing, have specific techniques that works for me.
Yeah.
But whatever is good.
Nice. Yeah, Hanuman Chalisa is a good example. So one of the key elements is if you were to memorize, say, a certain number of important verses, usually it comes to a point where there is like a limit to it, because one of the reasons is that if you don't use something on a regular basis, you'll forget it. And to use random important verses on a regular basis requires someone to be having a platform to speak on them and having a brain to use all of them. And we may not have either, but any fool can sing a song. And therefore, if we're on the fool level or we're on the scholar level, whatever we're on, that's the example the Hanuman Chalisa is, that it's a song. And so you can sing it, and I'm sure you said you did your practice, but now it's there. It sometimes you might have to refresh yourself, but it's always there for you. You might, sometimes there's a few words messed up, or if you're not doing it at the beginning, you may have to do it every day, maybe even once a week. Sometimes even once every 2 weeks still keeps it in your memory. If you just say you spend 5-10 minutes reciting the whole chapter, if someone is kind of very familiar with the chapter, that it's possible to wrap off 10 verses in a minute. So you got 30 verse chapter 7. It can be said, actually, the Sanskrit can be said in 3 minutes. And so it's like a 3-minute song. So that's one item. Another item is that we actually pay a lot of attention to the words. We're not looking for rote English memorization. It's important, especially if any of the verses are new to a person. It's important to try to see if they can memorize it in English, because if someone's very familiar with the verses, and they might, by seeing the words and the meaning of the words, they might remember the translation because they've heard the translation many times. But if they're not familiar, then you might want to work trying to do a little bit of the English memorization. But the idea is, by knowing the meaning of the words, we can remember what the translation's about and express it in our own words. Because the English, there's not much information you can get out of the English. You can get purports that are pages of long just from the Sanskrit. There's so much meaning, like the word jnana. The word jnana is translated as knowledge, but the word jnana, the definition of the word jnana means that by which something is known. And so depending on the context, like for example, if Krishna is the object to be known, then that by which Krishna is known is bhakti. So in like chapter, I think might be this chapter, chapter 9, the word jnana, the acharyas say, actually means bhakti, because it's only by bhakti Krishna is known, according to, I think it's 18 text 54, 55 or something like that. It says only bhaktyamam abhijananti. I'm only known through bhakti. So there's a lot. If you just had the word knowledge, you couldn't get all that stuff out of it. So there's a lot of things packed into the Sanskrit. So we try to learn the meaning of the words. Not every single word, but it's not that we're actually translating. We're just basically taking the meanings of the words and remembering the translation, remembering the conclusion of it, the translation of it. And we also do kind of like a deep dive study. So we dive deep into the verse, and we spend more than half the class just kind of getting into the verse, and then the other half we spend practicing. And then hopefully with that, it gives us the tool to kind of work a little further on it. It does take work. It's not so easy. Even if you can't memorize anything, it's still, you get to dive deep into a chapter. And sometimes it's better than being a jack of all trades. Sometimes it's good to like say, hey, I don't know that instead of like kind of trying to overview the Bhagavad Gītā hundreds and hundreds of times, let me just get one chapter where I like, for sure, I've done a serious, honest study of that, and I can confidently say, I really put my work in on that and really tried to understand that chapter. I don't know any other, chapter 2, that chapter, whatever, I don't know, but I know this chapter because I've dived deep into it. But sometimes it's good to be like a pond, very widespread, but not so deep. Sometimes it's good to be like a well, just on one thing, but you're getting really deep down into it.
Right.
Okay, so let me pull up my verse. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Text number 28. Okay, a little bigger. There we go. Yesham twantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridha brataha. Anybody see any familiar words? There are some words that were used in previous verses. Of course, this should be familiar, karma.
Moha.
How about this word, dvandva?
I believe anta was used to.
Anta, yes. How about moha? Okay, let's see. Bhajante. Okay, yeah, that's probably. I'm sure this is used in this chapter. Must be there somewhere. Okay, let's like pull up because there's a lot of those words. Okay, let's see. Chapter 7, and let's go to 27. Dvandva mohena. Who remembers that? Anybody? Dvandva mohena.
Illusion?
Moha, yes. Illusion.
And the other one was delusion. Right?
Duality, yes. When you kind of what does that mean? That means like when you see a disconnect, you're not connecting Krishna to everything. Therefore, duality is kind of a word that's used synonymous with the word with illusion, when you're not seeing how it's all connected, and Krishna is like the axiom of everything. Okay, so duality. So we got those same words that were in the previous verse, dvanda mohena, and here's dvanda moha, same thing, dvanda moha, duality and illusion. What does mukta mean? Mukti, anybody know that word? Mukti means liberation. Nirmukta. Mukti, liberation. Actually, I heard from Hirdananda Maharaj, who's a Sanskrit scholar, devotee, and he explained how this word has a really weird English correlation. And so the word mucus means to become free from, to expel. And the word mukti is the word that it's actually derived from this word mukti. It's an odd connection. Anta, does anybody remember what anta means? Carmen, would you like it?
I forgot.
Okay, well, you have in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you have the first volumes are called the Adi Lila, and the volumes, the last volumes are called the Antya Lila.
So the end?
The end, yes. Who was here? I think Dana K can remember this verse. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnana Mam Prapadyante Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Surdulabaha. Bahumnam, after many, Janmanam Ante, after many, many births, Jnanavan, one who possesses jnana, who is full of knowledge and who's wise, Mam Prapadyante, surrenders unto me, Krishna. Vasudevam Sarvamiti, understanding that I, Vasudeva, am everything. Samahatma, such a great soul. Sudurlabaha is very rare in this world. Okay, so let's look at this. Yesham means to those who are antagatam, who are, gata means like where you're going, and they're coming basically to the end, the anta of their papa. Who knows what papa means? Papa. Anybody know that one? Papa means when you were born, there are two things you say. You say mama and papa. And mama in Sanskrit means mine. And papa means sin. So that's kind of like our material mentality. Mine and sin. So those who are kind of done with all the sinful things, done with all bad karma. And jana means people. Vishnu jana. Those people they're done with bad karma and they're established in good karma, good actions. They're established in nice, civilized punya, piety. Good karma. So they're done with the bad, fixed in the good. What's the first line about? Done with the bad, fixed in the good. Punya karmanam. And they're done with the duality. They're like, I'm done with this duality. Nirmukta te dvanda. They are te dvanda moha. This duality of illusion. those people, done with the bad, fixed in the good, and just done with the duality, what are those people? They can do devotional service. They can worship Krishna with great conviction, very seriously. They're well fixed. So you hear these previous verses. Text number. Let's see. So Krishna's saying, he's covered by Maya. We can't understand him. He knows everything. Well, nobody knows him. Everyone's born into like desire, the delusion, bewildered by desire and disgust. I like this, I don't like this. And you may think, okay, well, if everyone's like, is there any chance? Everybody's in Maya, like, is there any chance? And here Krishna's saying, okay, here. Persons who are done with the bad, fixed in the good, done with duality. It's like kind of like stages here. Civilized, done with the bad, meaning you become a moralist. Fixed in the good, even a little better. That you don't just avoid bad things, but you're also actively doing good things. And then even higher, you're a spiritualist. You're done with duality. That kind of person can come to bhakti. Now, here, I have a question for you. Now, it's an esoteric question. Akiko-san, you ready? So, it sounds like bhakti is produced by like doing good things. Can material things bring Krishna? Like doing the good material things, like it's not an easy question actually.
Doing material good things?
Yeah, like here it's saying the pious, he's giving up the bad, establishing self in the good. He's kind of but we hear earlier that only bhakti brings Krishna. So how do you get bhakti? How do you get bhakti? Do you deserve
whatever
it?
you do, offer to Krishna. Do the material things that you do to be offered.
How do you like get started? Like who gives you the bhakti? Where does it grow from? Like how does it begin its blossoming?
Is it your intention, your mind? Your intention behind?
But where does the inspiration come to even like begin that intention? Like how does someone go from like, I don't believe in God, I'm God, or whatever, to like, I want to love and serve?
In an association?
Yes. So there is a book called the Madhurya Kandambani, and they bring up this question. Okay, so it's described that Krishna is independent, and bhakti is like Krishna. Bhakti is independent. Nothing's like causing it to come. Nothing material is causing it to come. Like, so then he brought up all these questions. Like, where does bhakti come from then? Where does it? And if it's already there in the heart, but where does it? What is the instigator of it? Like, does Krishna give bhakti to the living entities? Then wouldn't it be kind of unfair? Like why does Krishna give bhakti to Kiko-san but not her neighbor? Wouldn't that be unfair of Krishna? Or the word yajitchaya is a constant common Sanskrit word used in the relation to like how bhakti begins, and it just means somehow or other. And then they dug into that and they say, what does that mean, somehow or other? Does it mean like just accidentally, like kind of like the lottery, like Akiko lives in New York, so you have like the housing lottery. Is it just like that? Like you just okay, this person, and then the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who wrote the book, said that doesn't make sense because it doesn't actually doesn't bring any more clarity to the situation. So it's not coming from Krishna, because that would give the sense of unfairness from Krishna's side. And so he goes through all these different arguments, are really cool, intelligent arguments. And then he ultimately says that it comes by the mercy of Krishna's devotees. Because there are different levels of devotees. And this the first level is kind of like, you only see Krishna in your guru and the temple, and you don't really show proper love and respect to all the living beings and other spiritual practitioners. But the second level is where we're trying to establish ourselves, where we love Krishna, we serve his devotees, we help those who are innocent and maybe be able to grow in their spiritual life, and those who are, say, averse to spiritual life, we leave them alone. We don't engage with them if they're antagonistic. And because that's the natural level for the second, the Madhyamadikari, therefore he's wanting to help those who are innocent. And even you have some great devotees, they'll help even those who are antagonistic somehow or other. They're even more kind than Krishna. Krishna is, the devotee is like the ultimate expression of Krishna's kindness. And so, for example, Srila Prabhupada would give Krishna to everyone. Just you give, whatever step was next for them, give them some prasadam. And even if they weren't done with sin and established in piety and done with duality, he was able to attract them. But those three things in the purports by the acharyas, we'll look over, they're saying that those three things, they attract the mercy of the devotee when someone is tired of duality, who's done with sinful life or bad behavior, and is trying to do good things. And therefore, by attracting Krishna's the devotee's mercy, then they get that inspiration of bhakti, and it begins to grow. All right. So let me just pull up my screen again. Share screen. Okay. So just look over the purport real quick. Persons who have acted piously in their previous lives and in this life. And so it's this papam punya karmanam is talking about being good in this life, and also people who've done it from their past life too. So, and whose sinful activities are completely eradicated. They're not behaving sinfully, and they're also maybe even doing activities to get rid of their past karmas. Are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. That's the key word there. Dhrida vrata. Vrata, you probably heard before, means like a vow, and dhrida means very fixed, very strong. Those eligible for liberation, eligible for transcendental position, are mentioned in this verse. Those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful. For those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful, it's very difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hate. Those four are actually mentioned in this chapter. I think Dana K will remember. There's the four types of people who come to Krishna.
Yes.
And this is also the four who don't. The Buddha, the Maya Pritagyana, the Asuram, and the Naradama. Okay, only those who have passed their lives in practicing regulative principles of religion, who acted piously and who have conquered sinful reactions can accept devotional service and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, I'm sure all of us are like, wait a minute, I was never in that position. So somehow the kindness of the devotee, we somehow jumped in. We weren't like pious Hindus following all these different rules and regulations and from the get-go of our lives. Probably, I don't, maybe not, maybe you are. Then gradually they can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the process of being situated on the spiritual platform. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness and the association of pure devotees. For the association of great devotees, one can be delivered from delusion. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 552 that if one actually wants to be liberated, he must render service to the devotees. Mahat seva dwaram ahur vimukte. Dwaram, door. The door to liberation comes from seva to the Mahats, the great devotees. But one who associates with the materialistic people is on the path leading to the darkest region of existence. Tamo dwaram, the door to darkness. Yoshite shanga sangam. If you associate with the materialistically minded, we open the doorway to darkness. All of the devotees of the Lord traverse this earth just to recover the conditioned souls from their delusion. The impersonalists do not know that forgetting this constitutional position as a subordinate of the Supreme Lord is the greatest violation of God's law. Unless one is reinstated in one's own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality of God. And unless you're fixed in your natural position of bhakti, you can't understand Krishna. Or to be fully engaged in his trance and loving service with determination. And we'll just go to right here, surrender unto me. Pious persons are qualified to take devotional service, not exactly because of their piety, so that was the point we're making, but because their piety attracts the pure devotee's mercy. It is the mercy of the devotee, Lord's devotee, and nothing else that destroys sins and establishes faith in bhakti. Thus, it is the bhakta's business to distribute Krishna consciousness to others, as Srila Prabhupada writes. Okay, we already read that. And so this is, he quotes Baladevi Vibhushan's purport. But do we ever find devotion for you in anyone? It seems that this would not be the case, judging by your statement that all beings in creation are born into delusion. So then he answers, those living beings who have received the merciful glance of the topmost pure devotees will have their sinful reactions destroyed. As stated in Shruti, the personal servants of Lord Vishnu wander this world to purify conditioned souls. What characteristics are found to receive those who receive such mercy? This is answered by the phrase punya karmana. Their activities of taking darshans of great souls as punya, attractive or charming. Becoming firm in their vows and gaining determination by the virtue of association of great souls, they are freed from the delusion of duality. Coming to the truth about me, they engage in worship me. And so then, how munificent was Srila Prabhupada? He so widely cast his powerful glance that it fell upon even the impious or those engaged in unfortunate works, and thus he created their punya karmanam. And then this is leading into what is verse 29 about. Okay. There we go. It says, thus one should not consider punya karma is the cause of any bhakti. Okay, so it's not, it's not some material thing can force Krishna to appear. So before we do some more practice and dive in, give us some reflection, something you want to take home with you. And I think Dana K is up first.
Wow. There's a lot in there. I'm thinking. Come back to me.
Okay. She's passing it. She threw the ball at Gornataraj.
I don't have any reflections yet. Still trying to assimilate them.
Okay. Someone's got to tell us something they're going to remember. Something they're going to remember. Ken, what is something you're going to remember?
That just by I know it's kind of like a very common in a lot of religions, this kind of stress on being pious, on doing right things, and being good, in the very kind of Christian puritanical way leads you to God. Where it's very liberating and humbling to hear this verse talking about how really it's the mercy of the devotees that really bring you closer to God, and that I don't know, there's something really deep to reflect in there about, for me to think about and to feel very fortunate in my life for, and it's less of a struggle, than trying to be good, in a certain way.
You have like Mrgari the hunter who used to torture animals. And somehow he got in contact with Narada Muni and he became like a great sadhu, great saint. He used to Narada Muni was wandering through the forest and he saw these animals shot with arrows, but they weren't even killed. They were just like writhing in pain. And he saw a rabbit, then he saw some other animal, porcupine, then he saw a deer, and then he saw the hunter. And he's like, why are you doing this? He said, me and my father, we used to do this. I think it's fun. And, he thought it was fun. And I like to see his name, Mriga means animal, and Adi means enemy. His name means the enemy of the animals. And Narada Muni says, sure you want to do this? Do you know what happens? And Narada Muni is a powerful sage. So he just gives him a vision of what the future is. And he realized, I'm going to be on the receiving end multiple times. And he said, how can I, what can I do with this? Yeah, I don't want to suffer all that. And Narada Muni says, I can teach you how to completely transform your life, but you have to break your bow. And Narada Muni is such a powerful personality that he instilled this faith in this hunter. That was how he fed his family, is his hunting, his whole livelihood. And so he broke his bow. Narada Muni said, okay, just stay in your home and worship Tulsi Maharani every day. He said, how will I get food? He said, don't worry about that. And so he did that. He was with his wife, they would worship Tulsi Maharani. And the people in the village came to know that the crooked, evil hunter, who just seems like such a nasty guy, they heard this news that he became a sadhu. And so they all came to witness it, and they all brought food as offerings. And so Narada Muni came back. I think he came back with his friend Angita Rishi, I think. Or he has a couple friends, sages that he travels with sometimes. And so he came back and he saw Mrgari, who's his disciple. And Mrgari was like, and then he would offer his obeisances. And then he started walking towards Narada Muni, but he was walking in this really odd way. And he was just like, his legs were moving in this really odd way. And Angita Rishi said, why is he walking like that? I said, well, let's go ask him. And so he was walking very carefully. And they went to ask him. And first he said, dear Guru Maharaj, Narada Muni, I have one request. Can you please not send so much food? We don't even know what to do with all this food. So they were totally like fully being taken care of. And then the sage asked the question, why were you walking that way? He said, there were ants, and I wanted to make sure I didn't step on any. So before he was so hard-hearted, now he's so gentle, so soft-hearted. And so, yeah, he got that mercy, and he wasn't like everything done perfectly, you know. And the author of the Ramayana was also, he was Valmiki. He was, I think, a thief. I can't remember the whole story. I don't know if it was him. Yeah, well, I believe it was him. He was his consciousness was so low at the time that they told him, he was told, okay, if you want, this benefit, chant Rama. He's like, I can't chant that. His mind, it's like the mind is too averse to the even like spiritual substance, And so they said, okay, chant death. It's like, oh, I can do that. So he was Mara, 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 Rama, Rama. It's the same thing, you're chanting Rama anyway. But his mind was like, yes, death, 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 yeah, Gothic. But he was purified, and he became the author of the Ramayana. He wrote it before it even happened. It happened so long ago, but he lived before that time and envisioned the whole past time and wrote it down. And so, nice point. Yes, you don't have to be. What's that guy in like The Simpsons? The guy that the mustache or something. Nice Christian fellow. I forget. Something Sanders or something. Yeah. Nice. Akiko-san, anything you want to take home with you? Anything you want to take home from this verse?
Not right now, but I was just thinking how I met my first devotee and how it came about.
You want to share?
It was a yoga class at the Bhakti Center. I was just looking for a way of, exercising as yoga, but somewhere I heard that yoga is not actually only physical. That's all I knew. And I tried several studios, and I felt intimidated with the, high legs and all that stuff. So I kept looking, and then I came to the Bhakti Center's class, and then they started with Kirtan and Gita verse, and then went into asana class, and somehow I knew this was the place. And so I was wondering like how, it's in a way fate to land there.
Nice. I had the fortune of, I would study yoga at a Iyengar studio, and at the very end, they had to have Shavasana. They would say, okay, Chandra, go and like recite a verse from the Gita and explain it. And so I would give a 4-minute class. Everyone's in Shavasana. And it's not even, they're not at even anything like the Bhakti Center. It's just like a Iyengar yoga studio of Dallas. And most of the people aren't necessarily like seekers or like we're just some doctors, and I was always the youngest person in the class. Everybody's like pushing 70 in the Iyengar classes. They're not very old. And they're like, oh wow, if I didn't go, they're like, oh man, we really missed you. They're always like really like loved hearing it and stuff. So I think the verse is saying like when people are like, if they're a little warm to it, if they're not engaged, really degraded things, they're and they're maybe somewhat seeking, and then the devotees want to help. They're eager to share with them. But then was it Gordon Acharaj? No, it was Ken's point that it's like but yeah, devotees are very clever, trying to just give to anybody. Like, go to the punk rock scene, as Raga did, and it's like, and they gave Krishna Bhakti. It wasn't that everybody was like, I want to be a pious Hindu or something. I want to follow the rules and regulations of Varnashram Dharma. No, like I'm giving up all the rules, whatever. But there was still some, devotee can see the good anywhere, and then fan that little flame, bring it up, make it bigger and bigger and bigger.
I went to Maha Harinam in London with Satyananda Swami. So it was very, what's the right word? With the mridanga going so fast, and people were getting into it, on the street. And some teenagers joined and then kind of started slamming people. And I was a little bit annoyed, like, oh, I don't want to be near them. Like, they have no idea what they're doing. And then I saw a brahmachari approach them and have taught them Maha Mantra. And I feel like, oh, I'm still not there yet. Like, he was able to even approach those, in a way, obnoxious teenagers, but yeah, found a seed, or maybe he planted a seed. So it was a eye-opening experience for me.
Yeah. You should, if you want to get really shocked, then come to the Halloween block party Harinam in Dallas. It's like 20,000 people, all really, really crazy looking people. And it's a Halloween block party. It's all in the kind of bar district. The costumes are a little bit outrageous. I have some videos I can show, but they'll dance with us for hours and hours, and they'll be like, hurry, hurry, like they're trying to get a little bit of the mantra. And I remember, actually, I was in New York. I lived in the Brooklyn Temple in 2001, and we went out on New Year's on Harinam. 7 us brahmacharis, but we were like guerrilla brahmacharis. We were like so much energy, so much passion. And we how they close off Times Square New Year's, and then once it's midnight, they open it up and pretty much everyone leaves. And so we didn't want to be stuck, because it was like 20 degrees out, and we're wearing our dhotis and kurtas, and we wore a dhoti, kurta, and a sweater, and we kind of figured that we're going to dance the whole time, so we're not going to even get cold. So we didn't even bring warm clothes. It was like 27 degrees or something like that. Well, we're just going to be like just on the march the whole time. So as soon as Manhattan, as soon as the New Year's thing was over, all these people were exiting, but we were heading straight into the center. And there was,
these days they don't let you, but at that time you were able to go against the crowd.
Yeah.
Right now they close it. They don't let you come in.
Yeah, they had it closed until midnight.
No, it's the other way. The other way around now. That after they kick out people from
everybody.
Then you can't even go in. Like,
you can't go. Okay, so they were like,
stop letting people back in. Yeah, after midnight.
So we saw like a few hundred people.
Yeah.
Just dying for kirtan. They're just like, they're taking confetti, throwing it up in the air, going, ah! There's no music going on. There's nothing going on. And so they see us and they go insane. They really go insane. And so we're chanting with them for a long time. And then, we've been out there since 10 o'clock, and now it's like 1:30 a.m. And we're getting like exhausted. And so we stop, and the crowd is like, no, hurry, hurry. hurry, hurry. They're like pushing us to keep on going. They wouldn't let us stop. But yeah, the Oakland one is like that too. It's really wild. And I have to think, anybody who's there, this question must come up in their head at some point, like later on, like say we're just some hired people doing some kind of advertisement for Coca-Cola and we're chanting Coca-Cola or something. You could hang out and do the thing for 5-10 minutes because it's funny and it's novel. But to say the same thing, you know, with a group that you never met, you're just singing with them for 2-3 hours straight. You have to figure out, wait, there's something in this thing. Like, how can I just do this for hours and dance with these strangers that I don't even know? And like, there's got to be something in it. Somebody's got to ask that question, because if we're doing anything else, the novelty would run off very soon. You can't just enjoy yourself so much with any mundane sound vibration. Well, thank you. Anybody else? Any reflections? Carmen G, Mr. OG, Hardcore, Jeff, Hare Krishna. Carmen?
Okay, so I think I agree with everything that Ken said. For sure, I definitely agree that the devotee's mercy is it's phenomenal. I think meeting a devotee and getting to know the movement, it's like being in a dark room and they bring you light. They bring you light and you get to see everything in a different perspective, and it opens your mind, it opens your heart. And then I think that's a way where you start to see love within yourself and in everyone. So the mercy of the devotees, it's amazing. and it's something that, like, I think we can all relate to.
Nice, thank you. All right, so let's jump into the verse and give it our practice. Now we go back to share screen. Yesham twantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta. Bhajante mam dridha vrataha. Dridha. Dana K, can you say that? Dridha.
Dritha.
Dridha.
Dritha.
Yeah. Even the D has a dot, which is like a duh.
Yeah.
It's a duh. Dridha. Gotta put the tongue and touch it to the top of your mouth and go duh.
Dritha. Da.
Yeah.
Dritha.
Yeah. Yesham twantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridha vrataha.
It's a
Yesham
tongue twister at the end, those last few words together.
Dridha
Drita,
Vrataha.
drita. When you say it together, it's a lot
Dridha Vrataha.
for me.
Vrat. Yeah, if you take a vow, it's called a vrat. Vrata. Dridha means fixed, firm, solid. So those who can bhajante mam, those who can worship me with that fixed firmness, usually they're, in these categories, done with the bad, fixed in the good, done with duality. So he starts off with the translation. It says, fixed in the good, this life and the past, and free from the bad, and free from delusion. They engage themselves with great determination. In service of great determination. Yesham. A lot of times the words that start with who, what, where, such a thing, why. Yesham twanta gatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridha vrataha bhajante mam dridha vrataha bhajante mam dridha vrataha bhajante mam dridha vrataha. That's a one melody. It's not really a common one, but so it's coming to my head right now. Yesham twantagatam papam Yesham twantagatam papam. Garnataraj, you may notice that you have these letters like TV and then twanta. You just put them together. You just pronounce them together, makes it. And if you see even the Sanskrit, it's just all written together. This is TV, and this is twanta gatam. So you just say it together. Sometimes when you're trying to figure out how to read or pronounce something, it's sometimes easy to mix, to just put it together. Sometimes it's easier to put them apart. But yeah, twantagatam is right here actually. Pa pum, pa pum. Yesham twantagatam papam. And here's another. You have in Sanskrit, they write it out how it sounds when the words are next to each other. So tu anta, you say tu antagatam, it's going to actually come out twantagatam. It's just how that word, how this syllable sounds when you put it next to that syllable. Twanta, twanta becomes twanta. Yesham twantagatam papam. Yesham Twantagatam Papam. Yesham Twantagatam Papam. Yesham Twantagatam Papam. Jananam Punya Karmanam. Jananam Punya Karmanam. Jananam Punya Karmanam. Yesham Twantagatam Papam. Jananam Punya Karmanam. Well, you want to do a chant? You sleepy? Why don't you draw something? Check out this, the Shingadev drawing by Ramananda.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
It's old, he's saying. It's so awesome.
Wow, so great.
How old were you? He was like 9 years old. He did that one. See, this is like tattoo material right here. Look at that, so cute.
Oh my God.
He's patiently waiting to hop on the computer and play video games. Yesham Twantagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam. Okay, say both lines together now. Yesham Twantagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam. Okay, who can say it without looking at the screen? The first line. Unmute yourself, somebody. You can do it. Carmanji.
So it's Yesham Tvantagatam Papam.
There you go. You did it.
Cool.
You did it. Yesham Twantagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam. Tedvanva Moha Nirmukta. Tedvanva Moha Nirmukta. Tedvanva Moha Nirmukta. Tedvanva Moha Nirmukta. Bhajante Mam Dirdavrataha. Tedvanva Moha Nirmukta. Bhajante Mam Dridavrataha. Tedvanva Moha Nirmukta. Bhajante Mam Dridavrataha. Somebody want to read it? Read it out loud.
I'll try.
Okay.
Okay. Yesham Tvantagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam. Tedvanva Moha Nirmukta. Bhajante mam dridha vrataha. Vrataha, right?
Yes, yes. Very good.
Cool.
All right. Ken is ready to. You've cleared the pathway. He's ready to follow right.
Okay, so I'll give it a try. Yasam tavanta gatam papam jananam punya karmananam te divantvya moha nirmukta bhajante mam drivaha vritaha.
Okay. So vrataha.
Vritaha.
Vrataha.
Vrataha.
And it's carrying the vowel over. And then this S is like the S in Krishna. You know, you see Krishna is a K-R-S-N-A with a dot. So this is S. Yesham. 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 And let's say this one again. Vrataha. 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 Yesham. Okay. Gaur Nataraj, give us a reading.
So you want me to try it?
Yeah.
Yesham Yesham Twatatakam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam Te Tvava Moha Nirmukta Bhajante Mam Drava Duvata.
Very good, very good. So let's practice that last word again. Gridha.
Vridha.
Dridha.
Vridha.
Vrataha.
Yeah.
Bhajante mam dridha vrataha.
Dridha Vrata. Dridha Vrata.
And this A, when you have this is something that happens. It's a certain letter that's not really put attention to unless it's in a certain spot in the verse. At least when it comes to like reciting. In Sanskrit speech, it's used like just everywhere. But when you're doing like verse chanting, so this H, it's the same thing as this colon here. That's the letter, how it looks in Sanskrit. It looks like the colon. And when it ends if it ends here or if it ends here, which means if it ends on the second line or the fourth line, then you use it. And how it's used is whatever vowels here gets put at the end as well.
Oh.
So it's vrata ha.
Vrataha.
Yeah. Like here, actually, you see this word, nirmuktaha, but it's not said there, nirmukta. That's not nirmuktaha. Vrataha. Yeah, so it's only when it's on the second and fourth line, it's really emphasized. Let's see, somewhere else maybe. Yukja chetasaha sadiyagyam chaye viduhu. The vowel gets extended over. This is the last one. Looks like a little tongue twister. Sadi buddhi deva mam. It's like, I read that word. Sadi bhutadi devam. Sadi bhuta adi devam mam. Sadi yagyam cha ye vidhu. Prayana kalepi cha mam. This line always, God, that one was always so hard for me. David Chetasa. Actually, this line was harder for me than these two. I always want to say chapi mum instead of picha mum. Picha mum. Pranikale picha mum. Chapi is kind of a common word instead of common. Chapi. Chapi. Yesham twantagatam papam. Jananam punya karmanam. Dedwana moha nirmukta. Bhajante mam dridha vrataha. Who else? Akiko-san, you want to read?
Yes. Yesham twantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te twantva mohanir mukta bhajante mandrita vrataha.
Very nice. Cool, cool. See? Dana K? You want to try?
Oh no, everybody did so good, and then there's me. Okay. All right. Yisham twantam gatam papam
Jananam.
jananam punya hamanam
Armanam.
hanamam te dwan mohan nirmukta bhajante mam drita ha.
Very good, very good.
I tried.
Wonderful. The only thing was, I think both Gaurnataraj and yourself want to say vritaha, but it's vrataha.
Rataha.
Yes.
Rataha. Got it. Thank you.
Jante mam drida vrataha. Everything else is, yeah, right on point. Let's see. I don't know if Jeff has a microphone. I don't know if he's might be listening on something without a microphone. I don't see the microphone symbol. All right. Well, I think we'll stop here. Any other comments or questions? Anything you want to, reflections? Anything you want to add?
So I was thinking about the reflections earlier, and I think it's very important how Krishna put that verse, how like the devotees are really important. I think that's how you can really like see how wherever the devotees are, that's where Krishna is. So if you want to get to like know Krishna or become closer to Krishna, you seek the mercy of the devotees. And I think it's really helpful to think in that way. Like where the devotees are, that's where Krishna resides.
Nice. You know that verse or that statement, maybe? Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayeshu va mad bhakta gayanti tat tishtami narada. Krishna saying, I do not reside in Vaikuntha, nor am I in the hearts of the yogis. I'm wherever my devotees are chanting my glories.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that verse, but I don't know the Sanskrit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to share like how important that verse is. I believe Prabhupada said wherever there's like devotees, you're basically in Vaikuntha, right?
Yes.
You can make Vrindavan anywhere.
Do you know the math question Prabhupada asked? Ramananda, what's the math question? He knows. What is Krishna plus anywhere?
Everywhere.
That's what everyone usually says. That's not the answer.
I was just guessing.
Krishna plus anywhere equals
Vrindavan.
Vrindavan.
Vrindavan. Yes.
I don't get it.
You add Krishna to anywhere, and then that place turns into what?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Krishna plus anywhere. There was a kid who was showing Prabhupada the cool math things that he was learning. And then Prabhupada said, "Whoa, okay, very nice, very nice. But I have a math question for you. Do you know the answer? What is Krishna plus anywhere?" So, I think this is a fruitive devotional service to get the computer available.
No.
All right. Okay. Hare Krishna. All right. Any other comments or questions? So next Sunday, I won't be available. So we'll extend the last class on this chapter will be the 24th of April. The last verse will finish on the week before, the Sunday before the 24th. And then I guess that's the 17th, I guess. Then the 24th, we'll do like a whole summary study of everything we've learned, all the verses, and of course we can practice after that, but then the recorded classes, all that stuff will be finished. And then we'll maybe take a break and figure out how we're going to do what's next. I have chapter 9 memorized. I want to working on chapter 12. 9 is always really good. And I thought of this nectar of instruction. It's short and sweet, and it's maybe a little less intimidating for a lot of people because it's not so long. Just if someone memorizes the first 4, that's a great boon. Haribol. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hey, Bill, thank you.
Thank you. John.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Hare Krishna.
God.